Good evening and welcome to Terry's Beautiful Body Stars of Oklahoma. I'm so privileged to have in my home tonight the new coach of Oklahoma State University, Van Malone. I count it a privilege and an honor to have him. I haven't seen him in years.
Wow, you make me feel special with that introduction.
You are special. You are a star to me.
I appreciate that.
You really are.
Great to be here.
Thank you. So first of all, let's tell Oklahoma City. Dan is not originally from here. Where are you from, Dan?
I'm from Houston, Texas.
Yes.
But I have spent many good times in Oklahoma over the years. So I'm excited to be here. Recently at the University of Tulsa, right down the road in Tulsa. So like I said, I'm not from here, but every time I'm here, it's always like home. So,
I was getting ready to say that. Feels like home, right?
Right.
Great. I'm glad to hear you say that. Okay. We're going to kind of back it up just a little bit, Van. We did say you were born in Houston. Okay. You go to school, college, and all that, play football, basketball. Fill us in with that.
Well, you talk about basketball, and even before I start my story, as I've been coaching in college, I've had the opportunity to work with some great basketball coaches and some great football coaches. I say basketball and football coaches because every day at noon, some guys who on Saturdays consider themselves football coaches, at noon we hang together and we kind of consider ourselves basketball players. So David Stern, if you know LeBron and Jeremy Lin not working out, you got my number. No, seriously, I grew up in Houston, went to high school in Houston. After high school, had the opportunity to play college football, got a scholarship to the University of Texas, and played my college years there at the University of Texas. And after that, had the opportunity to get drafted. Got drafted in the second round.
Wow.
Played in the NFL for the Detroit Lions. For 5 years, for the Arizona Cardinals for one, and those were, super experiences for me. Really, to play football on the highest level, of course, an amazing accomplishment. Really, as I'm older and I look back at it. But for me, at the time, I was just most excited about my opportunity to influence young men and to help them grow, because there are always negative influences out there that they can have, and I knew with my position as an NFL athlete that they listen to me just like they listen to Pookie and Ray Ray.
That's right.
On the corner. So I try to use that influence to be a positive for young people. So really, I got more fulfillment that way than having an opportunity to play. Now the money was definitely good.
Okay. That kind of did that prompt in your mind? I know you're a recruiter. Still?
Well, what we, in this game today of college football, you're going to coach, and this is really funny when I go into schools. They say, "Are you a recruiter or are you a coach?" Well, it's the same thing. The way we do it at Oklahoma State and the way we do it, the way we've done it at some other places, is I coach the safeties, the defensive backs. So when I go out into the schools, I'm recruiting and I'm looking for offensive linemen, which I don't coach that position, but I'm looking for offensive linemen. But I'm really looking for the position I coach, the safeties. So if you want to get good players, you have to be a part of getting them there, because they want to know who's going to coach them.
Right.
And so I think we do it in a really unique way, because a young man, when he chooses Oklahoma State University, he knows the guy that's going to be coaching him, the guy that's going to be a part of his life for the next 3 to 4 to 5 years. So that's why we do it that way. So today, a recruiter and a coach really is the same, is the same person.
The same thing.
Yeah.
It's like a father almost, right?
Well, at the end of the day, there are a lot of kids that don't have father, you know, at home. So,
Right.
you know, guys who do it the right way, they realize that. And they understand that, you know, you're coaching this young man to play and to perform on Saturdays, but it's not just a one-day thing. It's, you know, it's happening every day because there are things that go on back at home. There are things that go on in the dorm, and there are things that go on across the campus in the classroom. So you really have to be big brother. You have to be dad. You have to be just an ear. You know, you know, in the case when guys are going on to play in the NFL, you have to be an advisor. Hey, listen, you know, this agent is possibly a bad guy for you know. So there are many hats that you have to wear as you progress through that young man's experience in college and even after.
So we're talking about the ages 18.
From 18 to 22 is when they're directly in under your care, under your wings. But then, like I said, once a guy leaves and goes off, I have guys that I've had opportunity to coach in college who are playing in the NFL and been playing 6 or 7 years. And we still talk on the phone, and they still have questions, and I still want tickets, you know. So, you know, we it's something that just doesn't end. And I remember when I was a player, I still have relationships with guys who coached me in college.
That's beautiful.
You know, many years later.
All over.
Right.
That's beautiful, Van. That's beautiful. So tell me, you are a father figure to these students, these players, and you're also a father. You have children of your own.
Yeah, I have three boys: Van, Vaughn, and Vincent. I try to keep it
Wonderful
simple around my house. Van is the oldest, and he's you know, a mature guy. Vaughn is the middle guy, and he's a typical middle guy. You know, doesn't really want to be the big brother, and he doesn't want to be the little brother. And then there's some days where he wants to be both of those.
Right.
And then I have a Vincent, and Vincent's 6, and I think he believes that he's like 26 when we ride in the car. Vincent is the guy who has a remote control to the DVD.
Oh my goodness!
So Vincent is
he's taking charge,
he's
right?
Taking charge. He's changing the. Well, we're not watching that, you know. So and he's 6.
He's 6.
Like I said, he doesn't understand that he's 6. So yeah, that and you know, in this business, when you have your own kids, sometimes you can kind of neglect raising your own as you raise somebody else's, because I just talked about how it's so important to
Why is that,
influence.
you think?
Well, because this profession takes a lot. There's a lot of, because you got to recruit him. He's got issues. He's got to go to class. Did he miss weights? Okay, he's injured. Did he go to treatment? So there's a lot of things that you have to you know, be responsible for, to hold him accountable to, and that goes on all day and sometimes into the evening.
Right.
Well, you know, the way I try to do it with my kids is I integrate them into the scheme. Is they're in the recruiting process, and when we recruit A, they're recruiting recruit A. And when he gets here is because they helped me recruit him. And then once he's one of our players, then it's like he's their older brother. They're a fan of him. And I always try to let my guys know, hey man, you're a role model.
That's
and
right.
My kids are watching you.
That's right.
So
That's right.
When I integrate my kids into it, it's fortunate that we have, you know, that they're boys, because I don't think I could integrate my daughter into it.
Right.
She wouldn't even be well, she'd probably not be able to do a lot of things. Maybe that's wrong, but fathers protect their daughters.
Do you want a daughter?
Oh no.
No.
Just because I don't want to spend any time in prison. I'd be all over any, because I had a younger sister, and I've slammed a lot of doors. Is Mary home? No.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You hear that, audience?
I don't really want to. It'd be rough on the daughter.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So do you see your boys headed the same direction as you?
You know that I think when you're a father, you like for your kids to be proud of who you are. You like for your kids to be proud of what you do. And my kids, they also have a personality even in that regard. My oldest son, his name being Van. He's worn my jerseys, and sometimes we call him Big Daddy Hype. Everybody in my family, they call him Big Daddy Hype because his dad's a big time coach. His dad played. Well, middle guy Vaughn, he could care less. And then Vincent, when it's to his benefit, hey, dad's a big time coach. That means I get to go out on the field. And if it's not to his benefit, he also, could really care less. So I've not ever pushed them to that. They all play sports. They all have different levels of athletic ability. And they're always, when they join a team and people know, oh, his dad, so they have expectations of them. But I don't mind. I can't have any control over what the pressures that the outside world will put on. But I try not to. I just want to listen to the coach. I want to be a good teammate. I want them to have fun. I want them to do their best. Now, those things are non-negotiable. You don't have to be good, but you have to want to win. It's not how you play the game with me, but you're gonna play the game the right way. But I want to win, and they're gonna want to win.
Definitely.
Winning has different levels. When I say win, I don't mean you have to win the game. What I mean is you have to do your best. If you do your best, if you leave everything on the field, you won. The score, the score is really for somebody else. That's not my deal. That's not, the score is the sum of all the parts that that make the score. But when I go to play, when they go to play, they're gonna do the best they can. They're gonna control what they can control, and they're gonna help their teammates. And those are really the only demands that I put on them. And like I said, they have varying levels of athletic ability. And because some of their friends may be watching, I'm not gonna tell. I'm not gonna evaluate them and say, well, I think Vaughn is not as athletic as Vincent. Somebody may play this again for him one day, and there's Daddy putting him on the spot. So.
Okay, how does Mom feel about all this?
Well, she has opinions, and she kind of believes that you get the same thing when you're in the debate club and chess club that you get in athletics. Because we don't agree there. I believe that until you sweat, until you hurt with your teammates, then you can't get that anywhere. So, like I said, you don't have to be good, but you're gonna have to go through some tough things.
That's right.
Now, fortunately for my kids, they don't necessarily want for a lot. We got 9,000 Xbox games.
That's awesome.
15,000 TVs, which are left on all the time. So I don't, I kind of grew up rough, and I don't want them to ever not have electricity. I don't want them to ever get evicted. I don't, some of the things I experienced growing up, but I do want them to understand that is out there in the world. And
you have to work hard.
Yeah, you're gonna work hard, because I'm not giving you anything.
That's right.
And I'm lying, because I just told you they got 19 million Xbox games and Wii's and PlayStation 3s and DS's and DSI's and any little thing you can, and iPods and pads and everything with an eye on it. But you're gonna also cut that yard, dog. So as best I can, I try to integrate some work into it. But quite honestly, because you as a parent, you try to say, well, I don't want to go through what I went through. But some of that was good.
Yeah, it's good for
some
you.
of that when I was in, growing up and
you appreciate it more.
Yeah, and I had to listen to when I had to listen to the Metro bus come by my house because we didn't have electricity. That was my alarm clock. I'll never forget that.
Really?
But I trained my ear because I had to go to school because I wanted it, and I could easily just lie there and say, well, I didn't have an alarm clock, no need for me to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
But when it was important enough for me to train my ear to listen for that bus
Mm-hmm.
to come down that road to wake me up. Well,
And what time was that then?
it was about 6:45. Yeah, it's about 6:45. But when you go through those things, you don't have, and of course we heard this at church a lot. You don't have a testimony until you have a test. And so my kids, they get tired of it. Hey man, there's some kids who don't have lights.
They're like, oh, Dad.
There he is.
Yeah, here we
Whatever.
go. Right.
Get a job.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, then, how do they feel about the moving process? Do
Well,
they
my
adapt?
kids, this is what they know. They know that they've been in North Dakota State Bison. They've been North Texas Mean Green. They've been Texas A&M Aggies.
Mm-hmm.
They've been Arizona State Sun Devils. They've
He's
been
been everywhere.
Western Michigan
Okay.
Broncos. They've been Tulsa Golden Hurricane. So this is what they know.
Right.
And there's been some things that have helped them. And when you have three boys, then when they bounce into these different places, then what they learn is, you know what, we got each other no matter where we go.
Right.
And
Do they make friends easily?
and then they do because they have to learn. They pop in on the scene, and the scene is already set up. So now they got to go in here and they got to make friends, and they do it different ways. Just like I said, they have different personalities. My
Right.
oldest guy, he's gonna kind of sit back and he's gonna go over here and he's gonna gauge what's going on, and then he's gonna integrate himself, and then he's gonna take over.
Right.
Vaughn, he's just gonna kick the door in. He's gonna, hey, this is what I'm doing.
He's not shy at all.
Not shy at all, and quite aggressive, and almost, gonna knock all this stuff down. But I'm here. Whereas third guy is more, he gonna go in and he's gonna be suave and
Is he more observant? More observant?
No, he's not. He's gonna be aggressive, but
he's aggressive.
He's gonna go in, but he's much more eloquent than the other guys. He's gonna go and he's like the Pied Piper. Like I said, he got the remote control at 6.
Oh,
Yeah.
with those three boys, would you say they all have a piece of you? You describing them? Is that describing you as well?
Yeah.
Or their mother?
I would say that they, I see myself in all of them, because there are times, there's times when I kind of exhibit, all of them. I always kind of tease one, the middle guy, as being aggressive and hey, this is the way it is. And I have that sometimes. And then I also am, when I get into situations, I'm going to feel it out. And I was reading a book a few years ago, and it said that true leaders, what they do is, the true leaders is they figure out, okay, they don't rush in. They kind of figure out, okay, where are the holes? What could I do to make this better? How can we get this? Who's potentially on my team? Who's potentially not on my team? And then they just kind of cruise in. And, hi guys, how y'all doing? And then they just integrate themselves into the fabric of the organization, and then they take over. Well, I see that in my oldest son, and I see that, in myself as I've operated, as a coach.
Oh, I was getting ready to ask you something similar to that, because you were in Texas A&M, right? So, at that point, were you offered the job here in Tulsa?
Well, there's many ways to dress up when you get fired. So, so I'll dress mine up.
Okay.
What happened is our defensive coordinator, Joe Kynes, been coaching a long time, and Joe came to the defensive staff and he said, "Hey guys, I've been doing this a long time, and I never had an opportunity to be with my daughter, and she has kids, and I'm gonna be with my grandkids. So this will be my last season." Well, when when you lose the defensive coordinator, the style of defense could change. The whole dynamics of the defense could change. So who you work with, you bring this guy in, he's going to be a different. Joe Kynes is a 4-3 guy. This new guy is a 3-3 guy. Joe Kynes like the blitz. This new guy doesn't like the blitz. You know, the whole dynamics of it will be different. So this guy may need some guys as he comes in that know his system, that he's comfortable with working with. Or, you know, he's a guy that doesn't matter who he works with.
Right.
As Joe moved out the door, the head coach at that time, Mike Sherman, said, "Hey, well, we're going to do what we can to get a guy who's like Joe to keep this staff intact." Well, as we kept moving, it didn't really seem like we were going to get that guy. And, you know, in this profession, you get opportunities. You know, I'm here at Tulsa and Oklahoma State calls. Just before that, Vanderbilt called. So you're getting opportunities to go to different places. And as we, you know, kept moving down the line, Tulsa called, and well, I didn't really know. It was kind of unclear to me what was going to happen at Texas A&M. So they made me a good offer. Thought it was a great situation at the time. And so I said, "Hey, I'm out." And you know, like I said, in this business, you get opportunities, and when they fit, you got to jump on.
And then that was just a year, right?
Well, no, I stayed there 2 years. 2 years in Tulsa? Yeah, 2010 and then 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seems so fast.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it blows by, and then sometimes it's like dog years. like 6 years in one. So.
Okay, then Oklahoma State.
Yeah, you know, we as well as Oklahoma State, we had a pretty good season, and you know, I recruited Houston when I was at Tech. Everywhere I've been, I've recruited Houston, so I was always in heated battles with Oklahoma State for recruits, and you know, they would win. A couple of them I won, but most of them they won, and so I know the kids in our program now. I know most of them. I'm sitting down at dinner the other night with one of the kids that I recruited really hard. He looked over and he said, "Coach Malone?" I said, "Yeah, man. I mean, I've been sitting here for 9 hours. You know, I know who you are, and you don't know who I am."
All of a sudden.
Oh my goodness, he got on the phone, made me feel like a star.
Oh.
"We got Coach Malone. All right, I'll talk to you later. You know we got Coach Malone."
I told you you were a star.
Well, he made me feel like it at that time. When I had an opportunity to sit with Coach Gundy, and you know, he kind of went through his vision and talked about, you know, his thought process as a head coach. I was sold. I was like a recruit, and I really, when I'm researching jobs, when I have an opportunity, I always try to look at it as if I'm a recruit, because that tells me, am I going to be able to get recruits to come to this place? And you know, like I said, just after a few minutes of being with him, I've had relationships with the coaches on the staff, so it was easy. The facilities, Boone Pickens says, if you build it and it's nice, they'll come.
They'll come.
And that's what he's done.
That is so lovely.
Yeah.
What a great story. I mean, I'm just in awe. I didn't know all of this.
Oh, really? Well,
no.
I forget some of it sometimes myself.
Now, how would that
I'm
happen?
gonna write a book.
You should.
Yeah, I'm gonna write a book.
You should.
I mean, there'll be more lies in it than the truth. But
now, why would you say that? Then?
Well, because I'm gonna talk about how I was an MVP of the game that I
juice,
probably didn't even play in.
Juiced it up.
Yeah, of course. I was, you know, I scored winning touchdowns in all the games. You know, how I was first team All-State MVP. You know, I'm just going.
There's pretty much a book. There's pretty much a book about you already.
It's my book. I mean, I can do that.
I mean, there's pretty much a book about you that, I mean, that people are writing.
Well,
especially now.
well, I appreciate that. Like I said, as long as they
Because
saying
today,
good things.
I knew I was going to do this interview with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I don't know too much about him,
Mm-hmm.
so I got to check him out a little bit.
Okay.
So I did that. That's why I was able to have these little notes. I kind of jotted down. But actually, you've answered them all.
Well,
He answered them all, and I did a little research on him because you were born July 1st, 1970?
Yeah.
I got that.
Hope nobody adds that age up. I like to stay young, but man, it ain't working.
Hey, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Okay. And I got that down, and then I had that you were from Houston. I have all that information because I didn't know that. I knew it must have been from Texas
Mm-hmm.
because when I met him, he was recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
So I did know that. So pretty much he's answered everything, okay, about your siblings?
Well, I have a younger brother,
Mm-hmm.
a younger sister, and I have an older brother by a previous marriage. Actually, two older brothers by a previous marriage. My dad was a boxer in,
Oh,
in the
really?
army. Yeah,
Wow.
when he was younger,
Uh-huh.
he had the opportunity to go to Korea,
Mhm.
and something, he kind of decided that he wanted to try boxing. Young guy in the army, try boxing. Well, he ended up being the light heavyweight champion of all the armed forces, and it turns out at that time that what happens is if you hold that title, then you have an opportunity to go in the Olympics. And as young people do, they kind of make dumb mistakes. And my dad, he always regretted this, is that he declined. He chose not to go and compete in the Olympics. So, because he wanted to come home and he wanted to be done with it. So early in my life, he had me boxing. He was kind of trying to live through me, and it worked until I met up
What
with
age?
a 12-year-old. I was about
Okay.
8 to 9. I met up with a 12-year-old because you go weight classes, so you could be fighting a little bit older guy. And that 12-year-old beat,
Did he?
boxing was over for me at that point. I had to go ahead and let him know, hey man, I'm gonna do golf,
What else?
soccer, tennis, any
What
other
did you
sport.
tell your dad?
Hey, dog, get some more kids. I had a younger brother. Hey, live through him, dog. It ain't happening here. So, that was something that I've kind of always been proud of. Along with that story, something that I hadn't always been proud of. Now my dad's deceased, but when I was, younger, you younger, and you don't understand the value, the significance of things. He had this book. Had a lot of trophies and gloves and belts and all, but he had this book. So one day I get mad at him, and I'm not a vengeful person as I've grown, but I guess when I was 7, I was. He had this book, and just, all his titles, he'd taken a picture, and I went into that book. Never forget it, and I just feel so bad about it. And I just scribble all over my dad.
No, you didn't.
Well, I'm just saying.
I understand.
That's the time when there needs to be some child abuse going on. But my dad he was an easygoing guy. He said, hey man, that really hurt me. I'll never forget that, doing that. I wish I could erase it and take it back, but that's why, don't do it. Because you can't take it back.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
And your mother?
Well, my mom still lives in Houston.
Okay.
And she actually is remarried. And she thinks she's, just as young as I am. But she lives in Houston. She is from Houston. And actually, I say from Houston, grew up in Houston, but from Louisiana. And my mom and dad, they actually, once my dad came back from the military, a little bit after that, they ended up meeting and getting married. And
they're very proud of you, right?
I hope. Yeah, I hope.
Sure.
Well, my mom always says that I was a good kid, that I listened. Um, but as she said it, I didn't talk back. I wasn't the guy to talk back. And really, um, I didn't talk back because you know, if she told me to do it, I was going to do it. If I didn't want to do it, then I was going to be trying to figure out how I could do it my way. um, but I didn't, you know, I never talked back. I kind of learned at an early age that I, you know, be respectful of my elders.
You know,
and find a way to get it done without being disrespectful.
You've come a long way.
Well,
You have come a long way. Then.
yeah, from scratching in the book to I'm civilized now.
And still be alive, standing. Your dad didn't kill you.
Right. Tell you what, I know that was rough on him.
I'm sure that hurt him.
But yeah. And I think, you know what, from my experiences, like I said, the power of influencing young people, and be able to get on their level, to be able to understand their language. Just because, like I said, 18 to 22, that's been my world. You know, and like I could be 70 years old and still be able to relate to those young people because. And I don't know, maybe I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth because I always say, because it wasn't that long since I was your age, but really it has been a long time. But I think the commitment, if you want to influence young people, you got to be committed to not leaving their world in such a way where you don't act like you never did that.
Right.
You know, you act like you never made a mistake. You never did something dumb. You know. And I try to, you know, stay within their world just enough to, you know, be able to get on their level, like I said now. But I'm not going to be sagging, you know, wearing my pants off.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear you say that, then.
You know,
So glad to hear you say that.
And I'll ask my players, okay, tell me why. Tell me why. Well, I just like them loose. I like them loose. Hey, listen, man. Here's what you got to know. I really don't. You know, you got nice underwear, but I just, you know, I don't like seeing them.
Go ahead and pull them up.
You know, and I, you know, fashion and things that we do. Maybe it was bell bottoms a few years ago. Maybe it was 10 years ago. It was something else, and you know, and then it was something else. I think it's important that, especially in our community, that we understand that we have to, we got an image that we have to try to, not even uphold, that we have to form. Right. Because I had an opportunity some years ago to talk to a few professional athletes, basketball, football guys. We were all kind of doing a little forum, and you know, these guys, some of them, their attitude was, I wear what I want to wear, I do it the way I want to do it, it don't matter to me. Well, my thought process, and some other guys in that group, the thought process is, that's fine, because you have $1 million in the bank. Right. But when the people that you influence, when they look at you, they don't have $1 million in the bank, so they can't operate like you operate. They're going to do what you do, and what you tell them to do, but you tell them to do the wrong kind of stuff. Because they can't do what you do. Right. You know, they're not gonna get the job. They're not gonna get a job if they come in there like that. You're not looking for the job. So yeah, you can do it how you want to do it, but they can't. You know. So it's all a game. This life we live in is a game, and if you want to, you know, you want to be successful, then you got to figure out how to play the game. Absolutely. You got to figure out how to, you know, when you're on the basketball court, you talk about basketball. When you're in the donut shop, you make donuts. You talk about donuts. So you have to learn where you are and how you operate if you're going to be successful. And all cultures do it. I just, you know, ours, we just got to keep on fighting and educating each other to be able to operate in all these different worlds that we're forced to live in. And you know, if you don't. You are making a difference. Well, you are. I hope. You really are. Yeah. You are. Helping these kids, that's what we need. I am so proud of you, and congratulations. Thank you. On the new position. Thank you. I will be looking for you. Do you like the Thunder? I do. I'm really, I mean, you know, I have friends that play in the NBA, but man, those guys play too many games.
Ooh.
They're playing,
Yes.
you know, with the lockout
Yes.
and the strike, all that stuff. It
Mhm.
kind of shorten it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they
Yes.
playing every 30 minutes. They like it almost, you know, not as
Almost.
bad as baseball, but yes, I do. Kevin Durant, of course, he played at Texas, so you know, I followed his career. But he's,
So have you met him?
no, I
You
haven't.
haven't?
Well, I know a lot of people, of course, that have good relationships with him, but I haven't actually met him. But I, you know, I listen to who he is as a young man and big time character guy.
Yes,
You
he
know,
is.
like I said, when you're in that position, so many eyes are on you, and I think he does a good job.
He does.
You know, of carrying the banner.
Yes, he does. Well, I believe all eyes are on you also then.
Well, that's
Yes.
scary. But I, you know, that's the world we live in.
It is.
You know, and you know, when you sell jerseys and shoes and all that stuff, and you're a role model, and I just take that as an honor,
Yes.
as a privilege, and as an opportunity to, because you know, when I was a young man, and all I wanted when I was looking at some of my heroes, I just wanted them to give me the direction. How did you get there? How did you do it?
Absolutely.
So if they gave me direction, I'd listen to it, I'd
Follow
do
it.
it. And that's why it's so important that when you have, you know, you got a light on you, that you, because you don't know who's watching, you don't know
Absolutely.
how closely they're paying attention.
That's right.
So if you got a light on you, that you should try. Well, we all make mistakes. You know what I mean?
We're human.
Yeah, I mean, most, you know, athletes today, they'll get a bad rap for, you know, made a mistake here, made a mistake there. But I mean, the same thing that the guy down at the fish market, he made the same mistake.
That's right.
ESPN is just not following him around.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
so, you know, as it comes, it's a lot more pressure. And people will always equate things and say, well, he gets paid a lot of money. You know what he does. You know, so professional athlete, personal celebrity, that's just the way. We gonna connect everything with how much money you make. And we're gonna give you some free passes because you make a lot of money. You know, you go into restaurants, you make a lot. Kevin Durant going to a restaurant, they give it to him for free.
That's right.
Well, you got a guy outside the door who don't have a house and don't have. You're not going to even let him in the door. You know what I mean? Because he's not good for business. So there's some free passes, but then there's also a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibility on guys who are young and who are impressionable, and who have a lot of money and a lot of people pulling them left and right. So I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I just think that you know, it's important to make sure we understand where we are.
That's right. Well, Van, you said it all. You said a mouthful and some.
I do that.
You do. Well, I
do that
sure
every now and
appreciate you.
again.
Makes my job so much easier and smoother, and I love that.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that you came with us tonight. And so, you'll be back and see me, right?
Definitely I will.
You will.
Definitely I will. I'm
gonna hold you to that.
That's fine. That's fine. We can do that.
Well, Van is a very good friend of mine. So glad to have him once again. So we're going to end this interview tonight with Van, and we'll let him go get something to eat or something. And come back and see us again. So thank you everybody for joining us tonight at Terry's Beautiful Body, Stars of Oklahoma. And Van, you are a star to me.
Thank you.
Be safe going home.
I will.
All right. Good night, everybody.